Hello there, it's Jimmy. Welcome to the Center, Information Center. Today I'm going to talk about criminal justice just a little bit. Because criminal justice to many people is just an elusive term until such time they become a part of that process. They get arrested for a crime, they get charged for that crime, then they get prosecuted. In that case, they either plead guilty, and oftentimes, if the weight of the evidence is against the accused, the defense attorney will see if they can get a plea bargain, just to kind of minimize the punishment. On the other hand, if the person says that they are innocent, and it appears the weight of the evidence is against them, the defense still must make every effort to find the facts and apply the law to those facts and present those facts to a jury in a meaningful way. Now, in terms of the process itself, you can assume, if you choose to do so, that the weight of the state is always against the accused. The police investigate the crime. They file a report with the county prosecutor, the state's attorney. He then has some choices. He can submit the investigative report to a grand jury by impaneling the grand jury to make a finding. Secondly, he can charge the individual by information and proceed to trial that way. On the other hand, he can dismiss the charge once it's filed. A lot of power. The defense attorney doesn't have those kind of powers. The power the defense attorney has is the ability to communicate in a meaningful way with his client. Sometimes that can be kind of complicated. And I say that to say that some people who get involved in committing crimes, they are either uneducated or disabled in some way and doesn't know how to effectively communicate with their lawyers. On the other hand, lawyers also don't know how to communicate in some ways with certain defendants. That may be out of lack of understanding human behavior or simply not knowing, not ready to take down the walls between himself and the client. For example, if the lawyer is white and he's a public defender, he's still a lawyer, and the defendant is black, and the discussion is public defenders are not good lawyers. That's not the truth. The truth is a lawyer is a lawyer. There are lawyers who do criminal work that should not be in the criminal business. They perhaps should be in some other area of law. Because criminal litigation is very taxing. And when you're representing a convicted murder, a person charged with murder and subject to the death penalty, that's a great burden placed on the defense to overcome the state's case in a meaningful way when the client could be put to death. But anyway, moving along a little further, criminal justice is a process by which people have a right to a trial by jury. Some people refuse to sit on a jury, especially in death penalty cases. They just don't want to have nothing to do with it. On the other hand, some people don't want to sit on a jury because they feel like, I don't want to be responsible for sending somebody to jail. Well, that's not really the function of a juror, not to determine whether to send somebody to jail. Their job is to look at the facts and reach a conclusion. If the evidence weighs against the defendant, then the evidence weighs against them. Then in the appellate process, if the trial lawyer fails to adequately represent the client has a right to an appeal. And if the Court of Appeals see the issue as one requiring some scrutiny, they may reverse the conviction and grant the defendant a new trial if the lawyer's conduct was so outrageous that it warrants a new trial. Notwithstanding the appellate court's decisions, the Supreme Court of the United States is the ultimate arbitrator of what the Constitution requires. One of the most pervasive areas that we get into has to do with the Fourth Amendment. And that has a lot to do with the incidences of police officers and young black males. Because sometimes officers, based on reasonable suspicion, articulated as they say, the suspect or the person, when they stopped the car, was making some unnecessary movements in the car and all that, and that in itself constitutes reasonable suspicion. But when they pull the person over, oftentimes they just commence the searching without a warrant. That clearly violates the Fourth Amendment. And two, there's this gray area whereby where does the rule of law stop and common sense take place? I guess that has to do with police and the community. Common sense says that you don't have to always use deadly force if you're unafraid. But if you're afraid, deadly force is the first thought that comes to mind. So in reading some of the articles listed here at the center, look at some of those things. And for young lawyers coming into the business of criminal law, let me say this. I've been a criminal investigator for more than 20 years. I've had several death penalty cases, but none of my clients ended up on that road. That's because they had meaningful and effective legal representation. When you are charged with saving somebody from years in prison or the death penalty, it's very taxing and very difficult to maintain, and sometimes you get criticism. Why are you representing that killer? Well, it's not that you're representing the killer. You're promoting the system of justice. And that job is for the defense lawyer and the prosecution, because they're one and the same, trying to find justice at the end of the day. So have a good time reading the articles here. If you have a question for me, you want some input on something, any case or whatever, contact me. My phone number is here on the site. Let me know. I'll be glad to talk to you. Talk to you later. Bye.